We've got a battle of the big threes down in Chestnut Hill on Wednesday. Tyler Rocky alongside Corey Spector and Chris Venzon. And guys, when we look at the top three on each of these teams, you start with Boston College, Jerome Robinson, Kai Bowman, and Jordan Chapman. How do they stack up against Syracuse's Tyus Battle, O'Shea Brissett, and Frank Howard?
Well, Boston College can shoot the ball from deep, and they have no inside presence. So if you're Syracuse, you have to watch the three-point line.
It's a huge threat for Syracuse's defense. Both Kai Bowman and Jerome Robinson can shoot right over the top of that zone. That's going to be a big worry for SU heading into this game.
Real quick, which one's better?
What, the Syracuse or
which big three? Yeah.
I'm going to take Boston College because they have a player with red hair.
I'm gonna go with Boston College as well. They've averaged 36 points, but just between their backcourt mates, that's a really strong pairing.
All right, so now when we look at this Syracuse-Boston College matchup, SU already won one this year, 81-63. That came in January down at the Carrier Dome. And when we look at what has to happen for Syracuse to replicate that performance down on the road at Boston College this time around, Corey, what's it going to take for you?
Well, I think if you're looking at Boston College's side, the key for them is how kind is the home basket. Look, in BC's last two road losses, they were 19% from the three-point line, but in their last two home victories, 43% from three. Boston College only scored 14 points in the paint against Syracuse in their first matchup, and we saw against Duke. Syracuse gave up a lot of open threes, but Duke just didn't make them because maybe the rim was just, they didn't have enough given it at Cameron Indoor. How good are the rims at Conti Forum? We'll see.
Syracuse shot really well in their last game against Boston College, but if Syracuse wants to win on the road this time, it's got to be Tyus Battle time. This guy is coming off one of the more disappointing performances of the year. In the past 3 games, he's had 2 games where he scored 12 and 13 points. He almost carried Syracuse to a victory against North Carolina with 26 points in that game. If Syracuse needs to get this must-win game, which they do, Tyus Battle has to ball out. He has to be the guy that the offense runs through him and put on a performance that puts him in the lore as one of Syracuse's best players.
Well, I don't think Tyus Battle was alone in struggling down at Cameron Indoor. It seemed like everyone, especially in that big three, really wasn't having their day.
Brissett shot 2 for 13.
2 for 13, just 6 points in that one. Now, when we look at who's going to win this game, again, this is a big one for Syracuse because you lose this, you might be done for the year. Chris, does SU keep its season alive?
I like it a lot. Syracuse, yeah, 71-64 is my prediction. What I like most about how Syracuse is playing right now, their big men have been phenomenal down the stretch in ACC play, especially Marek Dolezaj, Pascal Chukwu, and O'Shea Brissett. The last time that Boston College and Syracuse played, 5 players in double figures for Syracuse, and all 3 of those guys performed exceptionally. Boston College comes in as one of the worst rebounding teams in the country, 132nd in the NCAA. Syracuse, meanwhile, up at 17. They are a very strong rebounding team. That lends itself to good performances for Syracuse, and when they've out-rebounded their opponents, they've had a much better chance in some of those closer games.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the top, Boston College doesn't have much of an inside presence, but I am going to take Syracuse in this one, 61-58. Every time you count out the Orange, they lost 2 in a row. They come back and they put on a great performance, and I think they do it again.
They've had a really great way of flipping the script on us analysts and pundits who think we know things.
It's tough to predict this team. It really is. Every time we count them out, they just show up. But I think for Syracuse, they're going to yuck this game up. I expect this game to be a lot of Matt Moyer and Marek Dolezaj getting a lot of rebounds, hustling, getting on the floor, and they're going to yuck it up. Boston College also, they're the 4th worst team in terms of turnovers per game in the ACC. Wow. So for Syracuse, they're going to have to use their length to steal the ball, get in transition, score the basketball. I think they're going to win 61-58.
All right, so consensus Road Warriors here against a Boston College team, 13-3 at the Conti Forum this year.
It's going to be really interesting to see if Syracuse can come and just shoot completely lights out like they did the last time they were out on the floor.
And they've won more road wins than they've had last year, so I think they have an opportunity here.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on this webisode edition of Cuse Countdown. For Corey Spector and Chris Venzon, I'm Tyler Rocky. Syracuse and Boston College, the nightcap on Wednesday, 9 o'clock down in Chestnut Hill. Thanks for watching and enjoy the game.